Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to create a no foundation glowy dewy look for you guys today, perfect for summer, because this is just, it's not gonna melt off, it doesn't feel heavy, it just feels like your skin, but you're looking flawless, you're super highlighted for summer. And I'm gonna be using today the Jaclyn Hill in Morphe collab. So if you guys want to see how this look was created, then keep on watching. So starting off my look, I actually started this last night. So when I first got out of the shower, I used the e.l.f. Nourishing Night Cream. It is in a little bar like this. I love this stuff. It is so thick and just really, really moisturizing. And if you are an oily skin girl, I would probably say you might want to stay away from this because even the next day it leaves a little bit of a residue. But it is amazing for just instantly making your face feel so moisturized. And then on top of that, I put on the Sephora Creamy Night Mask, moisturizing and plumping. And you put this on, it's just like a little like gel. It's just like it looks like a hyaluronic, you know, like the gel moisturizers. It looks just like that. It smells phenomenal. So I just put a thin layer all the way underneath my eyes, my whole face, and down my neck. And you let it dry for about 5 to 10-ish minutes. And then it's just, you feel it tacky, but it's not transferring anywhere. And then I went to bed, and then I woke up the next morning. All I did was wash it off. And my face has been so plumped and just moisturized, and it is just feeling amazing. It feels like baby's butt. Like, it is just phenomenal. So in about 10 minutes ago, as I was doing my eyebrows, which I did off camera, then I went on with this moisturizer, which is the Neutrogena Hydra Boost Water Gel with hyaluronic acid. You can tell I really like the hyaluronic acid. So I just put that on and gave me a couple minutes to just let it fully sink into my skin, and so now my skin is the most moisturized it'll possibly get. So now that that is all set in, I'm going to start by a small primer. I normally don't add in a lot of primer when I'm doing this, but for pores, I do want to add a little bit. So I'm going to take my NYX Pore Filler and just put it on my forehead and a little bit on my cheeks and my nose and my chin, just to kind of fill out the pores that I've got going on. I ran out of my Fix Plus, which is my Fix Plus little bottle, but I was looking online and I just wanted to kind of make a setting spray for myself. I had all of the ingredients, I had like glycerin and all of that jazz. So thumbs up this video if you would like to see me. I think my next video will probably be how I do my DIY setting spray, because when you do your own setting spray like this, you can just more cater it. And this is a smaller version of the MAC Fix Plus. It's only 1 fluid ounce, and I had several other bottles where I made this up, and it literally cost me under $1 to make these each time, and it works so phenomenal. So in it, I also added a little bit of wild orange oil. And so I'm just going to spray my face, because one, it's going to give something that everything's going to stick to because of the glycerin in it, but two, it just gives you a very dewy look. So I'm going to let that dry. So now that that is dry, I'm going to start on with the face. So obviously, based by the title, this is a foundation-free foundation look, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start off by just doing a little bit of color correcting so my concealers doesn't have that much work to do. And I'm going to be taking the Makeup Revolution Camouflage Corrector palette. I really love this palette. So I'm just going to take a little mixture of these two. And then I'm just going to, with my ring finger, pat that right on the bluest part right there. You want to be careful though and not use too much. Like, I've made that mistake because it is so creamy. You definitely can use too much and then it'll crease and it'll look gunky. So after I put it on like that and I blended it in the majority with my finger, I'm just going to take a wet beauty blender. And this is the one by L'Oreal that has seen a better day. My dog got a hold of it and I need to buy another one. I disinfected it and cleaned it, but it's struggling. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this green, just the lightest bit, and put a little bit more around my nose. And do the same thing. Now, if you can tell on my skin, I have a lot of freckles. I don't tan in the summer, I just get a lot of freckles, and I'm about 5 freckles from a tan because I'm just full of them. When I was younger, it was my biggest insecurity, and I would like pack on the makeup just to cover my freckles. But it's great because when you have this many freckles, you could be breaking out and people can't notice because it just looks like freckles. Okay. So for my concealer, the biggest thing I'm going to be using is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the color 15 fair. Now when I am in the winter, it is like my skin color. When I'm in the summer, because I do change just a slight, it is a little bit of a highlight, but not much. So I'm just going to be putting that underneath my eyes. And honestly, the key with this look is everything is just less is more. I put some on my eyes, and then I put some on my chin just to even it out because I do get a lot of redness there, around my nose, and a little bit in my forehead, and a little bit just right there. Now, if you notice, I left my nose bare. That's because I have a lot of freckles on my nose, and it does look weird if your nose is completely covered in concealer, because then it's like one spot of your face that doesn't have freckles. So I will show you what I do there, just not to make it weird looking. So I'm just going to spray my brush, my sponge. Now when you're blending this in, you don't want to go in really hard. You want to go in really lightly at first just to fully get it, and then around the edges go harder and harder because it will pick up the product and it will give a more seamless look. Now I'm going to take a little bit of I'm going to take a little bit of my Tarte concealer and just put a little bit for extra coverage. I'm going to start with my finger and just kind of blend it. So right now with the cameras, it is looking so bright, but we're going to fix all of that. Now with just a little bit of excess product, I'm going to slightly go over my nose just to cancel out the redness, but not cover anything. So I'm going to zoom in to show you what my nose looks like right now. So as you can tell, you can still see my freckles, but the redness is gone, but it still looks like skin, it's just not red. So now I'm going to bronze up the skin by using cream contouring stick. So both are actually drugs that I've been enjoying. So one is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Makeup Stick in the color Oats on You, which is seriously orange. It is like, I don't know why it's called contour stick, because it's not a contour stick. And the second one that I'm using is the Jordana Sculpt and Go Creamy Contour Stick in the color 01 Light, and this one it is ashy and it is perfect. So combined of them together, they give the perfect contoured bronzy look without going too crazy. So now to first blend that on, I'm going to be taking a Wet n Wild little angle brush for just the first buffer, blending into your hairline. And then taking my sponge, blending that further. So what I love about those two products is you obviously can still see all of my freckles, but it just gives this sun-kissed look that just looks like your skin. So now for the highlight, I'm going to start with the liquid highlight, and CoverFx Custom Enhancer Drops in the shade Celestial. If you can tell, like, there's no, I have worn it completely off. So I'm going to take a drop with my ring finger. I'm just going to pat that on all of the high places of my face. So now to set underneath my eye, again, I don't want to use a lot of product, a lot of powder at all. So I'm going to be taking my Makeup Revolution little contouring palette. I'm going to be using this little white shade. And I'm going to be using it on my damp Real Technique sponge. I'm just kind of doing this motion, product off, and then just lightly patting that underneath my concealer. I use this because the last time I used what I'm going to use is my face powder. It just gave a weird yellowy, darker look underneath, and I'm wanting to stay very bright. I'm also going to set the lid as well. So now using the fatter end with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder in the shade Warm Light. I'm going to take the fatter end and just slightly get a little bit of powder on that and set the rest of my face. So for my bronzer, I'm going to be taking my Marc Jacobs Omega Tantric 0102 bronzer, just a tiny version. This is just a little fluffy brush I got off of Amazon. Slightly bronze up my face even more. So I'm going to go to the highlight and everything later. I'm going to now move on to my eyes. So now for my eyes, I'm going to be using Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. So I'm going to be taking a mixture of my two favorite colors, which is MFEO and Silk Cream, on a big fluffy brush, which is these two. And I'm going to lightly go in my crease. Now honestly, for all of this, you don't even need a palette. Use your bronzer and your highlight and your golden, like. And on a smaller brush, I'm just going to take a little bit of butter and a little bit of powder. On my MAC 217. And just go a little bit underneath that. So for my lid with my finger, I'm going to mix a little bit of Queen and a little bit of Obsessed on my ring finger. Just kind of swirl them together. A little more Obsessed than Queen because I'm wanting this to be a lighter look. And then with my finger, I'm just going to pat that on. And then I'm going to blend edges. And then on top of that, I'm going to go in with Beam, or in Light, I can't remember which one it is. It's that one right there. It's like one of my favorite shades of the whole palette. And then I'm just going to lightly go just in the center. And underneath my eye, just using the first two original transition shades, and then actually the center, I'm just going to go underneath it. I'm going to go with my Lash Sensational, my waterproof formula. I'm not the biggest fan of waterproof, but when it's so hot out, it's just melting your skin off. So I'm going to go in with this and just add a nice couple coats. Can we talk about just what mascara does, like when you're a blonde? Like, look at that. So now just using my accent brush by Real Techniques in the same little beam, I'm going to highlight the inner corner. Moving on to my blush, I'm going to take a little bit of Rosé Spritz from the Jaclyn Hill and Becca palette. Fluffy brush, and it just looks phenomenal. So now I realized in my last video I talked about champagne pop and how it didn't fully pop on my cheekbones anymore, and then I started getting frustrated by that because I was like, I love this highlight and I don't want to go spend 38 bucks for a new one when I still have a lot in this pan. So I figured it out. I worked on it and I worked on it and I figured out how to get it to pop. So I'm using a lot of products on this. I'm going to be using a lot of different highlighters, but starting off with champagne pop. So I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to wet it pretty nicely, and then I'm just going to go right where I'm going to put the highlight. So right where I've applied it, just pat that so that it gets a little bit damp. And before that dries, I'm going to take my Real Techniques contour brush and just swirl it in. So back the excess, and then boom. And it will be glowing to the gods. So since I seem to be using a ton of limited edition products, I'm going to be using the Nicole, Guerriero, and Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. Because y'all know this is like my favorite. Same brush, and I'm going to be using a mixture of a little Kitty Cat, a little Forever Young, and a little Glow Getter, and a little bit Forever Lip. You know, I just popped that on too. Now, if you're like me and you're wearing an off the shoulder and anything showing your collarbones, I'm going to take the same brush. I'm going to mix Glow Getter and 143 and highlight. And then just a little bit of Glow Getter. And last but not least, I'm going to go with lips. Now again, I don't like using a lot of lip products or anything crazy in the summer. So I'm just going to go in with my Tanya Burr Pink Cocoa. So I'm just going to slightly pat it on my lips. I'm not wanting it, again, I'm not wanting it super pigmented and opaque. Just, it's like my lip color, but better. And that is a finished makeup look. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really lets me know if you guys are getting engaged. And comment down below if you guys have any future videos you'd like me to create or any special looks. Underneath is my social media, so don't hesitate to Instagram me or tweet me or any kind of looks. If there's a specific picture that you want me to recreate, I will get on that. Subscribe to my channel though so that you don't miss out on any future videos. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.